mandatory senior manager prep for the Omaha event at 5:30 Eastern time. So make sure you guys have those in your schedule as well. A couple of things I wanted, before we jump into the actual meeting, I first of all want to acknowledge a couple of people. One is Karen Moeller, who today happens to be her 3-year anniversary with Energy Network. And so everybody, if you get a chance, say congratulations to Karen Moeller, who I believe is a very strong superstar with Energy Network. And a very fun person to hang around as well. And those that are coming to Mexico will get a chance to meet Karen if you haven't met her yet. But it's her 3-year anniversary with Energy Network. And then additionally, I want to say how much I appreciate the shout outs that you guys all gave Adrian Jackman, who is a rock star with Energy Network. His 4th-year anniversary was actually last week. And Adrian is one of those individuals who I was fortunate to be able to personally recruit into Energy Network, and just how much I appreciate his leadership, his honesty, his no nonsense, no BS approach to everything that he does. And I just want to say how much I appreciate you, Adrian, being with Energy Network and all that you do and bring to the table. So I wanted to do those couple of shout outs. I also want to shout out to Joseph Tedisco. You know, it's kind of cool. I've never seen anybody, Caleb was saying earlier this morning as well, so dedicated to putting something positive out in Energy Network every single day. And of course, we don't want 347 quotes, but Joseph has been doing a fantastic job in here. And today I love the, just happened to see it right before I started the huddle here, which I love his quote today. It says, "You can never cross the ocean until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore," by Christopher Columbus. Again, you can never cross the ocean until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. And I love that, because in business and life, it's that way. If you want to do something amazing, you have to be willing to set that goal out there and to lose sight of where you are today in order to get where you want to go. So thank you, Joseph, for being motivated every single day to post in the web office and give us encouraging thoughts. Really appreciate that. I was privileged to meet Joseph in Omaha, and just love working with him. He's a great guy. So, all right, let's cover a couple of things. I want to keep this video fairly short here today. So we're going to cover 2 things. One is we're going to cover Mexico and give you guys updates on what's happening in Mexico. And a lot of you have phenomenal opportunities in Mexico currently. We've been in Mexico for a couple of years now, and almost a couple of years, and have had tremendous activity, tremendous results. In fact, if you look at the overall portfolio of the approximately 600 companies that we are working in Mexico with, many of them are on the top 100 companies in all of Mexico. In fact, the ones that we have 360 agreements currently signed with, I think all of them but one are in the top 50 companies in all of Mexico. So we have a lot that we're going to be able to reap the rewards on for the work that we've done. But of course, it's been a very slow process, a lot slower than we all anticipated, which is why, again, we've always encouraged all of you guys when we roll something out, especially, so there's a big plus on being the first to the market and being first to be able to offer something, but it's also challenging at times because things don't always happen the way we want them to. And it's not that they're not happening the way we expect them to on our end. I should say that we can go any faster than we are now. It comes down to the overall Mexican market. The challenges with the political situation that has now changed, the situation with the meters that I explained to you guys several weeks ago, the meter situation, which is ridiculous. I mean, how do you go out there and say, hey, this meter costs $800 a meter and is perfectly fine, but now we want to put only basically go in and say, hey, there's only meter that we're going to allow with Schneider Electric's meter for $10,000 a meter. I mean, those ridiculous things that are happening with, I'm not sure who's getting greased in Mexico, but those things are happening. And then CFE's been a little bit slow in publishing the rates. I mean, all kinds of things in Mexico. That being said, is the positive thing about Mexico is that the market is becoming more and more established, meaning we're getting the companies that are there really getting comfortable with what is happening in Mexico. The new president coming into office, as well as obviously several other people politically, they're going to keep moving forward with deregulation in Mexico, which is very positive for us. And the other thing that's really positive is that the rates have continually gone up. The last 4 months, they've gone up 8 to 12% in Mexico. The current rates, which is phenomenal for us, because that means right now still with the retail providers, we're looking at still a 10 to 15, 12, in most cases, 12 to 15% savings for our clients in Mexico. The only challenge is getting them actually into the market, getting actually a retail provider that can get them into the market, because part of that is not only getting capacity to get them in the market, but the secondary issue, of course, is the ability to actually get meters installed, smart meters, so that we can actually get them into the market. So it's been kind of a fun stutter step. The negative of Mexico is that we're probably looking at end of the year before they're going to have all of their findings, what they're going to do as far as the meter situation and get their bearings. I mean, what happened in Mexico is they really opened the whole thing up and just kind of figured out it was going to happen on its own somehow and didn't have all the pieces put together. And so I want to take my hat off to Interlogics, to UE, to us, as well as Laurent, who've been really pushing things in Mexico and moving things forward there. In fact, we just had a couple of 360 agreements signed last week. So lots of exciting things. It's just that the payday is not going to happen until next year. Now, that being said, what we've decided, I announced this in a brief period here a few weeks ago, but I'm going to cover it in more detail today, which is that we are going to move forward in Mexico and really create a lot more opportunities for our clients in Mexico. So what we're going to do is this. I've spent several phone calls. We've been communicating back and forth with how to set this up. We already have Energy Network Mexico as an entity set up. We have all the agreements set up in Mexico. We have everything ready to go. I'm actually flying down the week after the event that we get done in August. I'll be flying down to Mexico City to sit down for all the final touches on things. But what we're going to do is we are going to, with Energy Network Mexico, which will be a separate entity owned by Energy Network. It's going to have multiple owners, not just myself, into Mexico. EcoBCG will be involved in that, and also their partners with Fabian and Farid. Those that went to Omaha met at least Fabian in Omaha, and they have a very solid, established client base in Mexico already, mainly with water treatments, also with technology to help monitor. And the other things as well that we're going to market. Now, most of you aren't familiar with EcoBCG, except for those that came to Omaha. Everyone else knows a little bit at a high level what they're able to do on the waterfront. And for example, today I was talking to John Clayton. He's actually going down to meet with Bacardi in Jacksonville with Sergio. Actually, I think it's tomorrow they're actually meeting. I'm not going to go through and steal the thunder. Lots of exciting things happening. In fact, in the U.S., I think we have 17 very, very large companies. Those that come to Omaha, you're going to get a chance to hear all of those. But I've asked Sergio to come on next Monday on the Team Huddle. So this next Monday's Team Huddle, Sergio will be on. And I'm going to have him cover all the things that he does. And we're going to not cover as heavily into Mexico quite yet. We'll cover it in brevity. We're going to roll this out to all of you that come to Omaha as the first opportunity people to be able to go into Mexico and offer EcoBCG. What it's going to do, though, is allow us to go back to our current clients that we have and the companies that we're talking to that we can't get into the market for energy deregulation as of right now, and start talking to them about other opportunities to say, I know, we've got a contract already in place for getting you in the market and working with you on the deregulation side. Of course, we're still waiting on some things to happen, as you know. But while we're waiting, I wanted to introduce you to Energy Network Mexico that handles and is able to work in multiple other fronts, especially companies that are in food and beverage, companies that use a lot of water are going to be perfect for us. And the great thing is, EcoBCG, we are the entire sales arm in all of the U.S. They have some sales arm in Mexico and Panama specifically. And in fact, they have, a very, very long client list. But we've noticed is there not a lot of clients that we have on our list. And so we're going to take over really the forefront as the sales and marketing arm for Mexico. They already have a pretty strong infrastructure in Mexico to handle our clients. In fact, just under 100 people in Mexico between the installers and the on-site visit people, partners with technology, all those things. We're going to have the infrastructure in place to handle growing in Mexico. So the game plan is first you're going to meet Sergio this next Monday, and we're going to talk about how to roll out EcoBCG as one of our product offerings and how we actually explain it to a potential client. I want to talk about some successes next week and how you guys can roll out with that. And then those that come to Omaha, you're going to get a lot further in depth what we're going to be doing with EcoBCG specifically. And by the way, I'll just tease all of you that can't make it to Omaha. We're going to find a way for you guys to participate in that from your home. Okay, so I'll tell you guys more about that in 2 weeks. So that is the game plan for Mexico. But what I find is that we already have these clients from the largest companies all of Mexico. We already have great case studies and testimonials from other companies in Mexico, like Procter & Gamble, like Pepsi, like Jumex, other companies that are very large companies, well known in Mexico, that we already have great successes with EcoBCG. And so it's going to give us the ability to bring in revenue to you guys, bring in income to you guys, and actually you look at the economics on a very good income to you guys. Second phase of this is going to be rolling into CHP with our new CHP partner. Also, we're going to be looking at in Mexico rolling out with solar eventually and other energy products as well that will help our clients. So there's lots of things we're going to be doing in Mexico. So stay tuned for that. As far as us going to our current clients, so don't start talking to your current clients yet about this or potential clients in Mexico. We'll be ready to go with all the collateral marketing and everything and the agreements in place, everything ready to go in Mexico. The game plan is by the end of September. So October 1st is the game plan. So I will let you guys know when we're at that point to start making introductions, which will probably be around the 15th or 20th of September. We will roll out officially on October 1st to start doing business in Mexico. That's the game plan. So I just want to get you guys' thoughts. If you would type in the chat window, let me know your thoughts. I may handle a few questions if you guys have a few questions. But the goal is for us to create income to you guys. And as you know, with our clients that we have, the more intertwined we can become with these clients, the better. But it also gives us the ability, because of some of the clients we're dealing with in Mexico, we're in the wrong markets or not the right fit, for example, for energy procurement, that will be the right fit for what we're going to do with water and other solutions in Mexico. So we'll let you guys know. Again, those that, I'll tell you one more time, don't start talking to your clients yet. I'm just giving you guys a heads up of what's going to be happening so you kind of get the gears moving. Is stage one of this is going to be for you to meet Sergio. Those that haven't met him yet, you're going to meet him on next Monday's Team Huddle on a video like this. Hold on, my screen's being weird. Give me 1 second. Make sure you guys can still see me. Okay. So next Monday, you'll meet Sergio in the Team Huddle. He'll do a short presentation of all the things that he's done and current clients. Additionally, we'll talk a little bit more. I'll do a Q&A session with him. Those that come to Omaha, the 20th through the 25th, you'll meet Sergio, and he's going to go a lot more in depth, and we'll talk about our game plan for rolling this out into Mexico. So the goal is that you wouldn't start talking to your potential clients about us doing anything else besides procurement. And the goal is around the 15th to the 20th of September. And then October 1st, we'd roll it out to everyone to be able to go after the clients we have in Mexico. So that's very exciting news. I'm excited about that because, like you guys, I mean, we literally have multiple millions of dollars in commissions sitting there in Mexico currently with energy procurement. You guys have millions of dollars in commissions sitting there with the term of the agreements that we have, and we can't do anything about it. I mean, nothing is moving any faster. We can't, unless they're willing to spend $10,000 per meter. Most clients don't love the idea of, let's say we had 10 meters going in, spending $8,000 versus $100,000 on the same meter. So the reality is they're not overly excited about that. I wouldn't be either. And so we're kind of in a standstill until we have capacity and until we have the ability to get their meters set up so that we can get them into the market. That being said, let's find ways to service those clients. And that's, again, the benefit of Energy Network is we're not just going into with one front, we're going with multiple fronts. Look at some notes here. That's awesome, Terry. All right, let's cover the second part of this, which is Pipedrive's new protocol and processes. So let me go back to when we started Energy Network. We started Energy Network, and the goal that we had as a company is for us to go into organizations and provide value to them. And we created a CRM platform initially just so the ICs that came on board could track their own potential deals. Well, then as we started to grow, we saw some overlap happening. And so what we wanted to do is create a scenario to where people could go in and raise their hand and say, hey, I'm working this account. And that would then make it off limits to other ICs to go after so they could potentially progress forward and work that account. The challenge is, as we've grown as a company, and I'm not exaggerating here, we have almost 10,000 companies. In fact, I think the number last time I looked was a couple weeks was like almost 12,000, but over 10,000 companies that we have in the CRM where I'm not seeing forward progress happening. Where people, for example, have a company in there they say they're going after, and they might have some notes, they might have some emails, some phone calls, and nothing's happened for 2 years. In fact, we have a few that nothing's happened for 4 years. They're still claiming they should have access to that account. Now, let's talk about this from two sides of this. Let's talk about this from your side of it. Of course, if you're working an account, you're legitimately moving forward with that account. What you don't want to see happen is for other ICs to overlap on you, right? Or potentially ruin a relationship or ruin a potential deal. By the same token, let's turn this the other way around, is as an IC, nothing's more frustrating than going into the CRM, doing a search and seeing that, hey, Tony Sanders has this account, and yeah, they had an update in there last month that said something, or they don't have an update in 5 months or whatever it might be, but they say they're working it. So then you reach out to your SMBD to say, hey, can I move forward? I have a relationship here. I think I've got to weigh in. They reach out to the other SMBD, which of course takes time. And the other SMBD talks to the IC. The IC says, no, I'm actually moving forward. Here's what's happening. And so we have to make a judgment call on all of these things. And I know for the senior managers, it's very frustrating, but I'm assuming, and I'm sure for you guys, I guess type in the chat window if it's not true. or if it is true, let me know that as well, which is you get frustrated looking at the list of companies that you want to go after and seeing that they're already being worked. In fact, we've had several new ICs that came in and either left or we had to have a conversation with them because they had all this excitement and they went to the CRM and all these things were taken. Well, either A, they take a ton of time going in and researching to figure out by talking to senior manager and their senior manager to find out if it's actually legitimate progress or not. It's a pain in the butt. It's an amazing pain in the butt. And the thing is, what I want you guys focusing on is moving forward with transactions, not all this back and forth stuff that just takes forever. Now, understand something. I want you to get this very, very, very clear. As a company, do you think we care who closes the transaction? Yeah, I've got my people that I love, my favorites, whatever, but I don't care. It's the same money to Energy Network regardless. If a Stephen Frisbee closes a deal or Susan Chikoski, it's the same amount of money to Energy Network. We don't care who closes the deal. We just want to have a level playing field for all ICs. So if somebody's legitimately moving forward with the company and making progress, great, keep moving forward. And the challenge with this is, it's not like a normal situation. And it's not like a normal company where we're selling these bottles. And if you don't sell bottles next month, then we know you're not making progress. It's not like a fast sales cycle. Some of these cycles, as you know, take 6 months, 8 months, a year and a half. So we know that does happen, right? So how do we find this balancing act? And so the other side I'll tell you from the corporate end is legitimately every single week, there's almost 15 hours spent just on policing Pipedrive, counting, then communicating with you guys and saying, hey, you're going to lose these accounts because you're not seeing progress. And then you come back, and then all of a sudden, after a week or so, then Rachel or somebody goes in and pulls those accounts out of your name, and then somebody emails back and says, no, I actually was working them. It's a pain in the ass for us at corporate as well. So what I want is basically a benchmark or a minimum ante before an IC claims an account. Okay. Now, I think this is more than fair. I think we'll also speed people up to move forward with what they need to move forward with. So here's the new policy. All right. So you want to write this down. We'll email all of you as well. We're also going to give you guys plenty of time to get caught up and to get current with this. So how it's going to work is an account where you have a bill copy of it. It could be a water bill copy, it could be a waste bill copy, it could be energy procurement bill copy, a bill copy and or a qualified partner call. At that point, that account is yours and off limits to other ICs, subjective to forward progress continued, right? So if you have a bill copy or you have a valid partner call, and that's going to be deemed by the partner, of course, and the senior manager. If you just get somebody on a call to try claiming the account as yours, and this guy is a janitor and you're talking about energy procurement, that's not the right person, right? So it's got to be a valid partner call and or a bill copy of some sort. That is the minimum ante for that account being yours. Now, also, obviously, if you closed a company, you closed an account, that account is yours, obviously. If you have a bill copy and or a partner call, and it's gone longer than 4 months, so 120 days, that account will be pulled away unless you're showing forward progress. And that forward progress is determined by your senior manager. So, for example, if you got a bill copy, let's say 2 years ago, and nothing's happened since that point, other than a couple of emails back and forth, that account's not going to be yours unless you can refresh it and get a bill copy or get a partner call scheduled with that company. Then it kind of refreshes that. So kind of the window is 90 days from, and how we're going to do this, 90 days from now. It's a little over 90 days, but on the 10th of November, the 10th of November is when this will go into effect. So you have 90 days to get bill copies and or partner calls set up and scheduled and actually have that take place. And that will then lock that account as yours, subjective to forward progress. Again, forward progress means you're still talking to the decision maker, you're still moving forward with it, something's actually happening with it. And then honestly, if you don't, if you haven't closed the thing within 3 or 4 months after getting that information, it's either going to be reassigned or it's going to be looked at least by the senior manager to say, what is the forward progress here? Now, we know there's times, for example, where it's energy procurement as an example. They say, hey, we're going to look, but give us 10 months, right? And no one's going to move any faster than you are in energy procurement probably. So we're not going to take that account away, but you should be going after that same company with other offerings. So we're going to be a lot more stringent to say either you're working it or you're not working. Either you're making progress or you're not making progress. I won't name the company. We have a company, for example, that two ICs fought on this one particular deal because one put a dash in the name, one didn't put a dash in the name. They both were working the account, and they both have had the account for almost 5 years. Nothing's happened, right? But they still claim that, hey, we're talking to people, we're doing whatever else. What we care about is closing a deal. What we care about is closing a deal for you and for us. Does that make sense to everybody? So we want to make this a fair playing field. So what's going to happen on November 10th is you're not going to lose anything in your Pipedrive. You still want to use Pipedrive the way you do because your senior manager is looking at what you do in Pipedrive. So how it'll work in the future is this. After November 10th, you will search in the CRM. The organizations that will show up that are off limits to you are only those that are already clients or where we have bill copies or a partner call happened, right? And within 4 months of that, the only caveat, so we're not going to change anything unless another IC wants to go after it, for example, and you haven't had any progress in 5 months, your senior manager can make that call based upon are you actually legitimately making as much progress as you can, right? So that'll be a little bit subjective to dispute, but it's got to be refreshed every so often of some sort. And like I said, even if you put a note in there and said, hey, I got a bill copy, and then 5 months later, you still have no progress, nothing happened with that company, and you say, well, they told me to contact them back or whatever eventually. Well, why aren't you going after other offerings? Why aren't you going after the people within that organization, perhaps? So the minimum ante to be shown as an organization off limits is simply a bill copy of some sort and a valid partner call. Okay? That's pretty simple, very simple. Now in Mexico, it's a little bit different. And now Mexico, just so you know, the deadline's not going to be November 10th, because actually right now, we don't want you rattling the cage with our potential clients because we can't get them into the market right now anyway. So the last thing we want is you to try refreshing pricing and get a bill. So we want to keep things status quo. Once the market's transactional, we'll then put a timeline on it. Okay, so once the market's transactional, we will put a timeline on it. What this also means in Mexico, which is great for all of you guys, let me back up. So what Mexico is simply a bill copy. In Mexico, it's not a partner call, it's simply a bill copy. And at that point, then that account is listed as yours. Now, you will still go in. So if you want to work accounts starting in November 10th, how it's going to work is same way you do it now. You'll do a search in the CRM, see if it's being worked by someone else. Now, understand, you may have 3 ICs that list that company as a potential deal, as an organization, but you won't see that. The first person to actually get a bill copy, have a decision maker, and talking to one of our partners, that then becomes yours. And how it'll happen is senior managers will have a system to let us know that, hey, Alfredo Wiley, has this account. At that point, corporate will make it visible, that organization, to all the rest of the ICs so they know it's off limits. It also, they'll look in the CRM to see if there's any potential overlapping ICs. If there are, they'll let those ICs know, hey, Alfredo Wiley has this account going forward. So then they'll pull that account from the other ICs that may have potentially thought about going after that account. Now, to me, this seems like a very fair system. Mexico is going to be good because the challenge we've had in Mexico is we have a partner in Mexico, Interlogics. They were working some accounts directly. Certain areas were off limits, all this other mumbo jumbo. So the way that I form this to them is that here's the deal. When the market's transactional, bill copies will be key. So if you guys have bill copies, you're making forward progress, then I'll put Interlogics in there as the organization holder. And that'll be off limits to our ICs. But anything else in all of Mexico is now fair game. Everything else in Mexico is open for us to go after, no matter what region, what territory, where they're at. And of course, the benefit is that we're not just going to be doing procurement in Mexico going forward. So that's going to allow us to then actually, maybe not have procurement for one particular company, but we can go after them with other fronts as well. Okay, looking at the notes here. I agree, Michael. Scott, there will be always case by case. So what is black and white is this. The black and white is you will not have that account listed as yours unless you have a bill copy or a partner call in the US, for example, period. Account's not yours, period. Now, where the SMBD will have to come into play is if within, let's say, a 90-day window, right, you don't have anything refreshed, you don't have a new bill copy, you haven't had a partner call in 90 days, that's where they'll have to make judgment calls. Now, the judgment call is good. Again, the SMBs will be very well trained and know how to handle this. And that's fine. It's yours. Unless another IC wants to go after it, you got to make sure you got notes in there. You're validating why you're holding on to that account because you haven't, for example, refreshed pricing in 7 months, or you haven't, talked to one of the partners, for example, for 7 months. You got to substantiate that. Michelle, it's all the same. So requesting, for example, if you want to go after something with Redaptive, have it qualified the way you do, or if it's all the same kind of pre-qualification, you're still going to search the way you are. It's just the only difference is that only companies that you're searching for that will show up as off limits on the energy network side in the CRM are the ones actively being worked. That's the only change that's going to happen at all. I think it's on your end, Alfredo. Everybody else have a good video quality still? Julie, so you asked about relationship and time to build rapport. The reality is it may take 1 month or 2 months to build that rapport or whatever else, but the reality is that it's not, no one else is going to be moving any faster than you are. And we'll create a policy for the ICs. Now, trust me, you think this happens a lot. It does not happen very often, except for maybe a few of the brand name companies. If you're going after 7-Eleven, for example, or you're going after, there may be, but in many cases, there's not. So your job is simply get a bill copy or a partner call. Now, here's the deal. Is the partner call is about building rapport. I mean, there's no anything really going on with that company, maybe getting to know some of the things that we do. But there's really no rapport happening until there's at least a partner call of some sort set up through a senior manager. So this is a very positive thing. And actually, Eric Kalman, if you're watching this, go ahead and type in the chat window, Eric. I know you had some great feedback. And all the senior managers, if you wouldn't mind, share your thoughts about this new approach. This was unanimously, we went back and deliberated how to do this for a long period of time. Us at corporate have spent the last probably 6 months trying to figure this out, how to best do this. The senior managers had several, heated conversations about this in a positive way. We voted unanimously to make this move. So it's not like one person making a decision or me pushing this down. I'm simply saying this is the move that needs to happen for us to grow as an organization. Now we talk about part B of this. Part B of this is we're also going to release in Mexico our brand new lead system, where us as a corporate entity are going to be able to provide leads to you guys that wish to participate in a lead program of companies. And we're working through Dun & Bradstreet and Hoover's to give you the most relevant, most important data to know who the right people are to get a hold of right away. You can either have a brief, here's the top people to contact, their phone numbers or email addresses. Here's a little bit about their company. And part B of that would be if you want a full detailed overview of all the details of that company. So we're going to be putting a whole lead package together, and this will speed the whole thing up. Those of you who are producing will get more leads. It's the way it is. Those of you who are not actually, let's say, for example, you're senior manager, we work with you and you get 10 leads that we're putting out there we want you to go after. You don't do anything, you're not going to keep getting more leads. Jim, unassigned accounts. So there really isn't really unassigned accounts. The only unassigned accounts you may be talking about are accounts that aren't signed to anybody else. They're not really anything like that. So basically you have, when you look at the CRM, every IC may have 2-3 companies they're going after, and you might have the same 2 or 3 companies. When we pull it off of which you shouldn't have overlap, but it does happen. When we make this change, the search in there is only going to show the companies actively being worked. You're not going to see the unassigned companies in there. You're only going to see the organizations that are not actively being worked. Now, if there happens to be, for example, companies that let's say 5 years ago an IC made some progress with, or here's another example is we have a couple thousand companies that way back when we first started, the first few years, all we had was energy procurement, and we maybe priced them out and didn't close them. We're going to have those available, and how that's going to be done is distributed evenly among the senior managers based on how many ICs they have, and they can put those out there to you guys as needed. But in the most part, we see ICs, for example, that put ABC Inc. in the CRM, don't even have a website, don't even have a phone number. Well, there's no real relevant data to call that lead unassigned to want to go after. Okay, I'm looking at my notes here. The last thing I will say is that, just so you guys know, this is a fair playing field, is it's not just about us. We don't want to take accounts from you. That's not what we want to do. And again, understand, it doesn't help us one way or the other than we want to close the deals. And you have no idea how many companies we feel that we lose. You guys lose in commission because someone else is squatting on the account. And then what happens is, you guys probably had this happen before, you request an account, say, I don't see any progress for 5 months. All of a sudden that IC talks to the senior manager and says, hey, let's go ahead and split it. I've been working on it for 2 years, haven't got it done. If you move forward, let's split it. Well, To me, that's not always the right course of action. I mean, if you've sat on that account for several years, haven't done anything with it, do you legitimately have the right contact person? Are you actually doing something with it? So look at this from the side that Eric was saying on the SMBD meeting that we had a couple weeks ago, which is the benefit of this is think about all the accounts that are now open for you to go after. That's the benefit. And us as a company, we're going to be putting leads out to those who want to participate. You can put your own leads in, of course. We're going to have, because we wanted to find a way, since data.com is no longer available, to find a solution for you guys that want to get additional leads funneled in. So we're going to put a program together to help you do that. And you can choose to do that or not, but the leads that we're giving out, we're not going to overlap on those. We're only sending those out, let's say 10 to you, Jim, or 10 to you, Jeff, or 10 to you, Vicky, versus we're not just going to send the same leads and rehash them over and over again. Okay, so that we're going to have a lot more details on it. I just want to throw that out there to all of you. Those that are coming to Omaha will have more understanding of it because we're going to spend more time on it as well. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a really exciting time for everyone. And here's the reality is, all the accounts you've had in there to this point, right? So let's say you've had accounts in there for 2 years, 1 year, 6 months. All we're saying is you've got 90 days from now, a little over 90 days, to basically get a bill copy or a partner call scheduled. If not, you didn't just lose that account. It's just not going to be listed as yours until you get to that point. And then if you have an account that's, again, been a little bit longer than that, hasn't been refreshed in, let's say, 3, 4, 5 months, make sure there's proper notes in there. Talk to your senior manager. It'll be their call. Now, understand, your senior manager, even though they're all very fair people, sometimes people say, well, of course that senior manager says this is their account. Of course, Eric says that this is Karen Moeller's account. Karen Moeller's his IC. Well, we do have, which I will say we've only used it, I think, 5 times in our whole history. But we have a resolution board. And the resolution board is actually in your IC agreement. This is what happens if there's a combating situation where we don't know what the answer is of which IC this should belong to. And what happens is we have the 2 SMBDs, the ICs tell the entire story of what's going on. We then sit down with everyone, all the senior managers. All the senior managers are part of the resolution committee. We make a vote and a decision what we're going to do with that account. Sometimes it's a split account. Sometimes it's all being given to one IC or whatever, but it's decided upon. There we go. So I tell everybody to mute their line, but I forgot about my Apple Watch and my other sound box. So what happens is that resolution committee makes a decision, taking out the 2 senior managers that have ICs represented. We make a decision. So it's fair for everybody. Okay. So I'm going to cover a couple of the things, which is Omaha's event. So I mentioned a little bit of this to you guys as well. I'm working on a way for those that, first of all, the Omaha event. Let me talk about the Omaha event. So the Omaha event is very, very unique in the fact that I want to make sure you guys all are aware of this, those that can't make it to Omaha, those that came in April, those that are on the fence to decide whether you're coming to Omaha or not. We have 80 people coming now, which is amazing, 80 people coming to the event. We have all of the partners represented there, all of the partners. So let me ask you this question. What would it be worth to you, as an example, to create a bond, a relationship, to learn everything you need to learn from all of our partners? So we've got 7 partners, combine the new ones, 7 partners coming to Omaha, counting everyone that's going to be there. We have like 12 partners, but 7 companies represented in Omaha, and they are going. So, I mean, what would it be worth for you to have 7 hours of education and training by our partners, then additionally have, obviously the time that you spend there as far as the interaction, and then have 5 hours of actually calling companies, opening the door up, setting up conference calls while they're there, and you'll have access to each one of those. They rotate throughout the room, coaching and developing you. I can't say it enough, but this event is very, very unique in that we, again, have all of our partners. Of the people that are coming, to give you an example, we only have 1 repeat. The rest are all new ICs that didn't go to the April event. This is a way for you to get grandfathered in. If you're at a higher commission percentage than 40%, if you haven't done $1 million in commission yet, but you've done Energy Network Academy, and actually, if you haven't come to Omaha yet, the highest is going to be 35% because you've only done Energy Network Academy probably. So if you want to be grandfathered in, this is your last opportunity in 2018 to do so. So if you're thinking and teetering on it, talk to your senior manager, get your registration in. We can take a few more. Might have to double up a few of you in rooms. We're not quite there yet, but we will if we go a little bit longer. But go in and register today. If you're serious about building this business, I will promise you that I'm bringing everything I've got to this event. I mean, I'm going to condense, in my opinion, 60 hours of training into 30 hours in 2.5 days. That tells you how much sleep time we're going to have. I mean, it's going to be definitely boot camp. I mean, the first day, to give you an example, we're going 14 hours with 0 breaks. Of course, you can step out and go to the bathroom if you need to, but 0 breaks for 14 hours. That's how intense this is going to be. And you will have all of the tools to build this business and create a 6-figure income if you decide to do that, or even 7 figures with Energy Network. So that's the Omaha event. We'll talk to you guys more about what's happening in Mexico. All I can tell you is those that are coming to Mexico, we will have within a week a place for you to go online and actually register for your rooms. We're excited about that. I mean, think about the 1-2 punch. If you're a fairly new IC or you haven't been to the Energy Network corporate training yet, either the one in April or the one now, I'm telling you, it'll be amazing of what this business will do for you if you come to the one that we have coming up. And then you also come to Mexico. You're going to get both sides of this. You're going to get the 80% of the mindset. So you're going to have your mind in the right position to know how to build and to get rid of the mind fricks that you have and to move your business forward and create a legacy. But you're also going to have the 20%, which is exactly day to day, exactly what to do. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do this in as little as 5 hours a week to build this to a 6-figure residual income within a couple of years. So don't miss it if at all possible. Can't wait to see you guys. And don't miss next Monday's Team Huddle. Again, we're going to be going over and meeting Sergio, so they haven't met him yet. And we're going to go over Eco BCG, talk a bit about Mexico, and that'll then open things up for all of you that are watching this, all of you, to start opening doors for Eco BCG in the U.S. Mexico will be in a little while. And then we're going to also have, again, all of our other partners you're going to get a chance to meet. I'm excited. We've got some really, really cool partners you guys don't know anything about. Very, very excited about that. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Talk to you guys soon. And again, Millionaire Mastermind Team, we're going to be talking here again at 2 o'clock Eastern. And then we've got 5:30 Eastern with all the senior managers mandatory before the event. Stephen, we have every single partner. So Eco BCG is going to be there. Our CHP company is going to be there. Our new company I can't tell you about is going to be there. Redaptive, Zenergy. We're going to have actually Interlogics will not be there, but representation of Energy Network Mexico will be Laurent Mulemans will be there. All of our senior managers are going to be there. Who am I missing? Waste, Ken Burns will be there. So you're going to get chances to speak, meet. I mean, I'm telling you, for me, the couple $1,000 that come to Omaha that it costs would be worth it if I had just 5 hours with all of our partners, 7 hours with all of our partners. What is that worth alone? So there's tremendous value in that, let alone the interaction and the ability to learn exactly what it takes step by step. What we're going to do is we're going to confuse the hell out of you at first with 7 hours from our partners. I mean, they're only going to have 45 minutes each between transitioning them in and out. We'll have 7 hours straight of our partners. Then we're going to take all of that and make the presentation you're going to give to a potential client and knowing how to open the door up to bring them to your senior manager. We're going to teach you guys exactly how to make this very, very simple. We're going to role play and get you got it down. And then we're going to go ahead and do 5 hours of that on Friday. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you guys soon.